Hey everybody, it's Everyday Peter. I'm just going to try to do this all in one shot. Just really quickly, today's gratitude is for my brother and me. This really came up today because I was listening to the recent live shows that the brothers put out because everybody's too sick to do a show, and the live show happened to be a remix of the two Chicago shows, and I was fortunate enough to go to one of those back in November. My brother and me was a huge part of my 2017. I didn't listen to them beforehand, and a friend pointed out a CISO show with them on it, and after watching a few clips and listening to a podcast, just an episode, I was just hooked on them right away. I just really enjoy their positivity, especially coming it's just a comedy with positivity. I do improv, and I've been doing comedy for a few years, and I've just never been one for sort of like Justin McElroy said this in an interview, like, you can be funny and cruel, or you can be funny and kind, and I think it's so much more important to be funny and kind, especially since this is a gratitude vlog. They're taking the joy out of someone else's suffering, just not good. It's just good when everybody can have a sort of laugh about it, and everybody's feeling silly, and everybody's feeling still confident after everything. This sort of goes along with, from what I understand, they had very early on in the podcast, they had a question about furries, and they sort of took the shit out of it. We were just really negative and just being, cruel, and they were being cruel to be funny. And after some backlash, they, came out and said that they were wrong, and then they did a furry positive episode. And that's another thing that I really like about just their podcasts in general. They're constantly learning. In the Adventure Zone, this is a spoiler alert. In the Adventure Zone, they fall into the bury your gays trope, which is essentially that characters that come out gay, or characters that are gay end up being killed in the show. And after essentially being educated by their fans, this is another spoiler, but just keep it as vague. They did try to correct it or something, and they talked about it not in the Adventure Zone podcast itself, but the Adventure Zone, which is sort of one of those like the Talking Dead type situations. And they just sort of talk about really listening to the feedback that they received from their fans and helping that grow them and grow the show, which just is absolutely fantastic. And that's exactly why I love these guys, because they do identify that they have all these privileges, because they are three straight white dudes who grew up fairly middle class, and they are trying to do their best, and there are so many moments of them learning and stuff that they are people who are doing it right. Could they be doing it better? Probably. But I think for where they sort of started and where they've come across, I think they're doing just a fantastic job at this. I've actually written all this down for the first time. So on top of the My Brother and Me and CISO show, and My Brother and Me podcast, and the Adventure Zone, as I've already mentioned them all, there's Till Death Do Us Blart, which is a once a year on Thanksgiving Day special podcast, where the brothers and two people from Worst Idea Ever, which is two guys watch the same movie every week and then have a podcast discussing about it. I think they've discontinued this podcast after 3 years of doing it. Just couldn't handle it anymore. But this is the third year in a row of Paul Blart 2, and it's just such a joy. Just listen to all three of them. It literally is 3 podcasts, less than 5 hours of your time. Can't give it a thumbs up more. And then I also watch, I've gotten onto Polygon and Monster Factory and Awful Squad. Awful Squad is a weekly show that they live stream it, but it's essentially 2 hours of just PUBG with the Polygon staff, and that's great. I love Justin singing. So the first time I've ever heard Boat Drinks, fantastic song. Just very, very fan. It's just a great old time. I like listening to them sort of hang out with their family and having all this fun with their friends. At Monster Factory is Justin and Griffin, and they go into video games with like character creator modes and try to make just like the weirdest thing they possibly can, and they're just playing around with it. Highly recommend all of that. Hopefully I'll throw some links in down below with just a little bit more on the Adventure Zone. One of my favorite stories of all time. I honestly get through the first arc. First arc's like 9 episodes, and they're really trying to figure things out, and Griffin's actually using one of those like pre-written sort of story guidelines, but by the end of the entire series, it's just like the music. Griffin makes all the music himself in it. Just so goddamn good. It is just so wonderful. I still listen to the soundtracks every here and there because of how great they are, and especially because they fit. They add so much emotion to the scenes and to the gameplay that they're doing. Because even though it's it's Dungeons & Dragons, it's a board game, but they really did transform it into a way to tell a brilliant story. There's just weaker points as I get out of here. Basically, the last 2 things that give me so much to look forward to in a week. Every Monday I'm waiting for that My Brother and Me. Every Tuesday I am so down for Awful Squad, and then of course Adventure Zone on Thursdays, and that once a year Till Death Do Us Part. These are just things that constantly looking forward to week after week, which is, it always adds some laughter and just straight into my life. Also, thank the brothers, just mostly Griffin, because this is mostly his thing, of adding boy to my vernacular. This is a good boy, this is the best boy. What's that little boy over there? As I said to an artichoke dip at a bar earlier today. Just to summarize, my brother and me, and the McElroy Brothers. This is really just the McElroy Brothers. That is my gratitude and appreciation for today, for always lifting me up week after week. Do you guys listen to any sort of McElroy Brothers, or do you have like a podcast or even a YouTube person that you watch all the time that sort of gives you that boost that you need and that you're always looking forward to? Please comment that down below. Subscribe. Vlogs on the daily. Thank you and good night.